For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kate Davies. I'm the Executive Director of IMLA. For some of you, this will be the first career progression masterclass that you've joined. You're very welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. We know that some of you joining were at our first such event, so thank you for the vote of confidence and coming back. And I hope you likewise enjoy today. I don't want to talk too much. I want to introduce our super speaker today, Rosalia Lazzara. And Ros is going to talk to us about how to create, improve and increase our online presence, which is becoming an increasingly important skill that we need to have in this modern high-tech world. And by improving our presence, we can be more visible out there and we can be more effective. So that's enough from me. I'm going to hand straight over to Ros, and here we go. Sit back and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Kate, to you and the whole team at IMLA for choosing me to be your speaker for this educational series. So thank you, everybody. I hope you can see my presentation. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rosalia Lazzara, the founder and CEO of Manuka Media. What I'm not, okay, I really do not want to be here under any false pretenses that I'm going to be, you know, shouting about being a 7-figure business owner, famous with 5 million followers, and I don't have a £10 million property portfolio. But success, when you are building a brand, is not valued and measured just by these metrics. So you could be looking at yourself thinking, I'm not really sure I'm made for social media because who's going to want to hear from me? Oh, I've barely, started in my career. I don't know anything. I'm the least knowledgeable person in the room. I could have felt the same. I could constantly find reasons every single day to feel like I don't have the authority to put my name and my voice out there. And had I listened to these little voices in my head thinking, well, who are you? How much money have you actually made? How many followers do you actually have? Have you even got a property portfolio that's worth 10 million or more? I wouldn't have been able to create this. Yes, this is my Britney Spears moment. I absolutely love speaking to you guys, whether it's on stage or on a webinar, and I love collaborating with some of the best brands in our industry. I wouldn't have been able to been on some of the most prominent stages in the property and finance industry and spoken in the Manchester Stadium in front of thousands of people with entrepreneurs and business owners also having the very same fear of being visible and having a voice, because it is so vulnerable to put ourselves out there. You must be looking at this picture, some of you, thinking, get that mic off, burn the stage. I never want to be seen like this ever, because it's the most uncomfortable thing ever. So please don't take away from this that in order to have a voice and to have authority and to have a personal brand, you need to have a Britney Spears mic and you need to be on stage with a spotlight on you. If this makes you want to run, please hang tight, because that is not the only way to have visibility. What I've been able to build because of that bravery, if anyone's followed me from day one, you may know my journey and my backstory of being a broker first. So I was actually a packager. I used to work for a master broker, and then I worked for a lender, for a bridging finance lender. That's my background, not marketing, not social media, not, singing and dancing on videos. I was doing finance, right? I was lending, bridging loans and commercial loans. That was my bread and butter. But I leveraged, okay, my time is money, so is yours, and I can only be in one place at a time. And when I'm physically somewhere, I can't be anywhere else. So I leverage the power of the internet. And since starting Manuka Media, I've been able to create not just amazing opportunities for myself, but also amazing opportunities for my clients. And all this started with, it looked like this, the messy start, the unexpected business startup. This is what it looked like day one, guys. So if you haven't followed me since day one, 6 years ago or longer, because I've been in the industry for 11 years, if you've only just met me for the first time, this is what it looked like. Okay, so I would love to know in the chat box, let's all find the chat box if we can. I'd love to know, if this is your first time ever meeting me or seeing me, please drop a 1 in the chat box. If you have seen me before, maybe heard me speak before, maybe drop a 2 in the chat box. Now, where is that chat box? Let's see if you guys can find it. Anyone in the chat? We are testing the chat. Are they commenting? Because I can't see them. Okay. Well, that's fine. Let's just go back to the presentation because I can't see the chat. If anyone wants to step in and help me. No? Okay. Don't worry about that. Kate, give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides. Okay, we're back to the slides, guys. So if you do have any questions and you want to put them in the chat box, we'll get to them later after I finish presenting, by the way. But if this is your first time meeting me, then yes, I want you to know that it didn't all start out with, you know, yellow suits and blow dries and being on stage with a mic. And I didn't even have a tripod. And I started my business with £50 just registering a limited company. And I borrowed my husband's laptop and that was it. So if I can start sharing my voice, if I can start sharing my message and it looks like this, I promise you, you've got everything you need at your fingertips to do a great job for yourself and your career. But please make no mistake. Also, can I just point out the irony of having a very crinkled up dress whilst actually working on an ironing board? I mean, that is how, like, just get it done, no perfection, no hesitation. I just had to go out there. And this was day 1 in my business. But you could be thinking right here, right now, but Ros, I'm not a business owner. Like, why would I need to build my brand? I don't actually have a business. I have a job and I go to work and I just do my job, right? So why would I even need to build a personal brand? I'm not here to convince you to build a personal brand. I'm here to tell you that you already have one. You are either vocalizing that brand and you're either sharing that brand, or like think and ask yourself the question, if I was to Google your name and I see nothing, what does that tell me about your brand? It's not that you don't have one, it's that that's what it tells me about your brand. I don't see the value. I don't see the culture of your brand. I don't see the ethos of your business or the ethos of your job or the values that you carry within your job. The difference between personal branding, having one and using one, is how you communicate it and how you showcase it. All of these people and more that I've worked with across the industry, they already had a brilliant job. They already had a brilliant business. What they were not doing is putting themselves out there and communicating that to the rest of the industry and their clients. Because visibility, yes, it is vulnerable, but right now, that is your currency. Like the new currency today, the new value, the new metric is about how visible you are. Because if you're not visible, then how can we find you and work with you? Even if you were looking for career progression, career elevation, it's the same as not speaking up in the office. If you are not putting your name forward, if you are not raising your hand, if you are not calling things out, it's the same online. You are not sharing your voice and therefore you have no visibility and no identity. So it's not just about starting a business with your personal brand, because I was actually posting on social media and using LinkedIn when I was in a full-time job. And all I can tell you is you have no idea how unplanned and how unprepared I was for COVID, because I got made redundant. This was during the reason I'm working on an ironing board as my desk is because this is in the middle of the pandemic. That is why the setup looked like this. But little did I know, I had built already the personal brands that I secretly didn't realize I actually needed. And that's exactly what I've done for other businesses and other people working in their roles, like Carmen here, for example. She's a broker. Maybe some of you know her. She works at Express Mortgages. She hasn't got her own business. Rachel does. It's Rachel's business. But Carmen was so fearful of putting her name and her face out there. And for those of you that think it's an age problem, it absolutely isn't, because Carmen right there is standing on stage at 29 years of age, about to turn 30 and about to give birth. And she won Rising Star Award at the Women's Recognition Awards. That is coming from a 29-year-old that did not want to put her face out there on social media and didn't think she was worthy of an award. So it's not an age thing, because even those in their 20s, in their 30s really struggle with putting themselves on social media. And obviously at the other end of the spectrum, you've got a large brokerage over here, very different to Carmen as an individual and her personal brand. You've got Real Finance, a collection of brokers who came from a banking background, and they've joined Real Finance to become independent brokers. Again, they had an incredibly successful multi-six-figure business, and now they are recognized nationally. They are winning awards, they are sponsoring events, they are getting leads through multiple different channels. They've increased their recruitment process. So another reason to build a personal brand is, if you are going to be an employer, today we're looking at you. You're not just looking at my CV. If I'm going to come and work for you, I want to know what you're about. And the fastest way for me to know what you're about is for me to look you up on social media. Now, if I'm going to come and work for your firm, your social media channels tell me everything I need to know about your recruitment process, about the culture of your business. And if that is not being communicated on social media, I'm starting to question why. Why is that company not screaming and shouting about all the wonderful things that they're doing? And that is the ethos and the whole reason behind Manuka Media and why it was born, because we build financial and property brands. I work with people in the property and finance space, whether it's a solicitor like Jazz over here, or Mark Champ, who went from working at Shawbrook to becoming a broker, or Anastasia and Luke, who are independent legal advisors and created a law firm, and anyone in between. Because my whole mission when working within this industry was to make property and financial services more human, more accessible to everyday society. I talk to people in the gym whilst they are pregnant, and we get into conversations like, oh yeah, so where do you live? Yeah, Hitchin. Okay, do you own your property, or are you renting at the moment? Like, yeah, we own it. And I don't know how I get into those conversations, but before you know it, we're talking about, well, have you got protection for when you do have your baby? Have you got I don't even sell protection, guys, but these are the conversations that we don't get taught about in schools. We don't get taught about money. We don't get taught about investing. We don't get taught about pensions, and we don't get taught about investments or property or protection for our families. That is why I've built Manuka Media, so that I can help advisors or lenders just like you put their proposition out there and help our society get more educated on these topics. So that is what, if you haven't got a taste for it already, that's exactly what today is going to be all about. Understanding how you can be more authentic and credible online, how to what kind of content is actually going to increase your visibility, but more importantly, the trust. This is an industry of people buying from people and about building trust. When I say visibility or engagement or being more credible online, I'm not saying I'm here to make you famous. I'm here to help you build stronger relationships, have a stronger brand presence using the tool social media. This is about how to use social media, not how social media uses you. Let's be careful about that. So let's play right, now I really need the chat box to work, because this interactive part is about being able to comment on what you can see. So how do we do this then? Abby, if you're there, are you able to give me access to the chat? Because I can't see when people are commenting. Abby? Or Kate?
Sorry, Ros, I can't do
Can you
that.
see the chat?
In the right room.
That's okay, Kate. Can you see the chat at all? People
No, I can't. I can't.
Okay. Because I can see the chat, but there's no messages in there. So if we are able to get that fixed, sorry guys, waiting. I know we're now scrambling to try and get this sorted.
No, that's something else. Are we seeing this? He's got us. Oh, we've got lots of ones too from the previous questions.
Yeah, I'm sure they are commenting,
Are
but
you getting lots
I
of
can't
feedback?
see them.
I've got another machine now which I can see. Can you keep scrolling up? So I think we're ready to go. Do you want to ask your first
Do you
question?
want to, yeah, why don't you read it out to me then what people are saying in the comments if I can't see them? Is that okay, Kate? So
As they come in, so far all I can see
as
is
they
one.
come in, ones
Okay.
and twos, lovely. Thank you everybody for your patience on this. So if I say to you just eat, okay, in the comment, can you please tell me who is the face of Just Eat? Because Just Eat is a logo, but how have some of the marketing and adverts been designed to show you a face or therefore a personal brand? Does anyone know who is part of Just Eat? Any comments coming in, Kate? Come on, guys. I know you know the jingle. I know you've heard it before.
I'm going to try. I have one. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Brian says it's Snoop Dogg.
Yes, Brian. Well done. Anyone else, guys, that you can think of? There's a couple more. There's a couple more.
There are more votes for Snoop Dogg.
Okay, I'll reveal then, Kate. It is Snoop Dogg as one of them, but the other two have been Katy Perry and Craig David. So
who said that? Yes.
yes. So why did they do this, guys? What is the meaning behind Just Eat using these iconic figures? Well, they already have a following, they already have a name, and they already have fan base and followers. So Just Eat are going to try and appeal to that fan base and that audience, and they're trying to make their brand more human. You see, you get it? Like Just Eat is a logo and it's a faceless brand, but they're not going to have the CEO of Just Eat dancing on the ads, right? Because it's just not the vibe they're going for, because the CEO of Just Eat has got a different purpose to their personal brand. They're obviously looking at investors and partnerships and scaling the business, whereas in the business, in actually the B2C element of it, they need to appeal to the customer, the consumer face, right? We've got some more fun stuff like this. So let's go on to the next one. Kate, can you please ask people to comment, or people, can you comment? And so Kate can read out your answers. What is this? What do you see here? And actually, can you also add how much you would pay for something like this? So comment what it is, and then comment how much would this be worth. What are they saying, Kate?
I'm waiting for them to come in. Come on, guys, don't be shy.
Don't be shy, guys. Kate, what would you say this is?
Well, I'd say it's a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
No, someone's saying it's a Crutch's white t-shirt, and Brian paid 10 quid for it.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you, caller number one. Now, yes, it's a white t-shirt, but what about now? This is still a white t-shirt, is it not? And the only difference on this white t-shirt is who's wearing it and the logo that is on it. So suddenly we go from paying £10 for a t-shirt, maybe £3 depending on where you're buying it from, to paying for the brand and the meaning of the brand, guys. Okay, so when you try and say, like, what does it mean? What does brand strategy mean? What is my brand? Right? It's how you wear the t-shirt and how you make people feel. That's it. Okay, how does Nike make you feel? Right? This is about being athletic. This is about just doing it, and also having someone like Michael Jordan on the screen and wearing their brand gives you a level of aspiration, hope, achievement, success, talent. This is exactly the difference between when I say to you, you already have a personal brand. Now, it could look like this or it could look like this. That is the difference between you wearing your personal brand with alignment and strategy and belief versus just flogging a white t-shirt that no one really understands or sees the value in. So that is what we call brand by association. And I also want you to think a step beyond this, right? I really just want you to think creatively here rather than just like, oh, okay, Rosalia is telling me that, you know, my brand is like a t-shirt. Think about, and this is for lenders especially from one perspective, when lenders are looking at their team, your team are like Michael Jordan in your business. And if you are a brokerage that has multiple advisors working for you and you're not a single advisor brokerage, then you too are thinking about your team like the Michael Jordans of your team. They are out there wearing your t-shirt. That means they are out there representing your brand, what your brand message stands for. And if that is not clear from the top down, from the CEO, the founder, the manager, whoever is your hiring manager and above, then you're not going to be wearing the same t-shirt altogether. You can't have someone saying, just do it, and the other one saying, just give it a go. That's two very, very different messages. So you've got to be, your brand association has got to be incredibly aligned. Whether you are solo, like, for example, I'm often known as the girl who always wears yellow. Okay, now that was an accident. That wasn't something that I pre-calculated in my bedroom and thought, oh my God, this is going to kick off and this is going to be outstanding. Everyone's going to love it. It was an accident, okay? Because like I said, I was in the middle of the pandemic. I was wearing a green unironed dress, had no idea about brand, strategies, and I was just giving it a go. But since wearing the yellow, now it's become something that sticks and something that people actually enjoy and look forward to seeing, like my yellow phone and my yellow outfits and my yellow office. So I'm not saying you need an iconic color that you need to now go and change your wardrobe. I'm saying wear your brand from head to toe. So what do I mean by that? Just like Michael Jordan, he's going to show up at every game with pure intention, and the way he thinks is the way he acts. Now, if I said to you, oh, I create buzzing brands for property and finance professionals, and then I turn up grey with my hair all scruffy tied back, and, I'm not going to really ooze that energy. I'm not going to really ooze that buzz that I want to give you. So that's why it's important to understand what you stand for, what your values are, and then how to dress for the occasion. But I don't just mean from a perspective of you need to go and get a blow dry and a professional photo shoot. I mean, if you are showing up with your values, you are going to be wearing that. Because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. How you show up online also matters about how you show up offline. And now I know that many of us here love bumping into each other at events, don't we? Like, we absolutely love going to industry dinners and gala dinners and award ceremonies and networking events and even webinars like this. Because showing up and being ourselves, and whether that is online or offline, that is what people buy into. It's finding something relatable that they might remember from you. Maybe it's the fact that you've got kids, maybe it's the fact that you love gardening, maybe it's the fact that you love a slower pace of life, or maybe it's the fact that you just absolutely love, Canary Wharf city life and you're building your career. Something relatable about you is what people will connect to you and remember you for. That's what builds trust, and it helps you become more recognizable. When you show up consistently and you show up with your brand consistently, you become more memorable. When people need that solution, they think, yes, I'm going to go to Kate, or yes, I'm going to go to Abby. That's the solution that they are going to be able to help me with. And that makes it all the more engaging. Your relationships are going to be much more solid if you are able to show up consistently, both online and offline. So, Kate, get ready for that chat box again, please. I'm going to ask you in the chat box, can you please drop a name in the chat box? Who is this person? Who recognizes this person, please?
There must be a slight delay on the answers coming in.
I know, yes, I actually gauged that. So no problem, guys. Thank you for those participating and making this a more pleasurable experience. For those catching up on the recording, feel free to play the game along and just guess as you go along.
It's coming.
Just need a name. Who do you think this is?
I couldn't even guess, I'm afraid. I'm hopeless. Come on, guys, someone out there knows who this is.
Come on. I know you guys. Or what do you know him for? I know you guys know him. It must be just a chat box. It's coming in late.
It must be brave. Steve Bartlett?
Yes, well done. Who was that?
Anonymous user.
Anonymous. Thank you, Mrs. Anonymous user. Thank you for that.
Sorry.
Okay, come on, guys. Let's pick it up a bit. Who's this person?
I can
Come
do
on,
that
everyone must know this one.
It's Richard Branson.
Yes. Kate, well done. Thank you, Richard Branson. So, look, guys, I'm putting to the test. Does personal branding really work? Well, you tell me.
Absolutely.
Right? Why does Stephen Bartlett have a Stephen Bartlett page? And why does he have 3 million followers in comparison to his business, or one of his many businesses, that is called Flight Story? Why does Richard Branson go on LinkedIn? Why can't he just be like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there. Virgin, you can just handle it. You guys just handle the marketing. Why should I be out there? Because, guys, how many times people buy from people they know, like, and trust? These incredible business owners, and again, I repeat, you do not need to be a business owner to have a personal brand and to benefit from the benefits of having a personal brand public on social media. Because you may work like I worked for Together Money. I absolutely loved my job. It was like the favorite job I've ever had in my life. But no one's ever going to take the name Rosalia away from me. I don't work at Together anymore, but Together have become since a client, and we've worked together since, because Rosalia's name still stands. Whether I change job, whether I shut my business down, whether I have multiple businesses, your name lives forever. So stop hiding behind your logo, stop hiding behind your CV, get yourself out there to communicate to your colleagues. And I'll show you something you can do in a minute, of course. I'll break it down, but this is just to prove that personal branding works. And that's why the best business owners and founders today are using that. So let's put it to the other way around, okay? It's going to be a little bit trickier. Let's do the test in reverse. So personal brand versus business brand, okay? Who have I got sat on my chair right now in my on-brand studio? Does anyone recognize him? And which lender, I'll give you that clue at least, which lender is he from? In the chat box, what are they saying, Kate?
They're typing it up.
So who is in the hot seat there getting interviewed about branding? What's his name and what's the lender name?
Sure, it's coming down the copper wires. No, nothing coming in.
Do you know, Kate?
Oh yes, there's new. Someone's got this one. No idea.
We waited all that for someone to say no idea. That's fine. Thank you, though. Thanks for being honest. So this is Duncan from Tab. Okay, so CEO, founder of Tab. So maybe someone to look up, guys. Okay, so let's do it this way round then. What's this? Where is this? What's the name of this? And Kate, if the comments aren't coming through, feel free to play along with me.
Well, I could do that one. It's Travelodge.
Well done. How do you know?
In previous existence, I used to stay in great luxury in travel lodges around the country.
Amazing. Yeah, so the Travelodge, but looking at the photo, how do you know that's the Travelodge?
Colour scheme, the irritating stripy thing across the bed, the design of with the carpet, the
yes.
picture, the curtains, everything about it. It's just so.
It screams Travelodge, right? So that is amazing branding, because that whilst we may not like the decor, we know it's the Travelodge without even having the name across it. It doesn't even have a logo in their bedroom. It just looks like the Travelodge. Secondly, it's consistent. This could be the Travelodge in Yorkshire. It could be the Travelodge in Essex. It doesn't even matter. It's consistent across all places. So that brand consistency is vital in how you show up. So That's what I wanted to represent here. But what about this place? Does anyone actually know where this is? And no, it's not my bedroom. And yes, it's a hotel. But do you know what hotel it is? Kate, do you know?
I'm almost pleased to say I don't know.
Yes.
Not what I'm saying.
So for many of you maybe getting ready for special anniversaries or Valentine's Day, this is the Crazy Bear Hotel. Now, guys, they are both hotels. Agreed, Kate? Hotel 1, Hotel 2. Now, there's horses for courses that comes to mind, right? And there's a purpose for each of those hotels. Now, if I was doing a speaking gig and IMLA invited me to do a speaking gig in person on stage, and they said, Ros, we'll cover your hotel, we'll get you into a hotel, and they sent me this, I'd be really worried and really taken aback, right? But of course, I would expect something like this. So what am I trying to say here? Think about your audience. What is the purpose of who you are trying to help? Okay, don't try and be something you're not, essentially. Like, don't try and decorate yourself as a Crazy Bear hotel when actually someone just wants a bog standard service, which is this. Like, this just does the job. This is what they want. But equally, if my husband was booking an anniversary getaway and he booked me in here, I'd be not like too taken aback. I'd be like, wow, it's not that fancy. So this is more appropriate for the occasion. So really think about your audience and really be consistent, and don't change who you are and how you portray yourself just to try and appeal to everybody, because trust me, it stinks when that happens and it doesn't look right. Okay, I'm just going to whistle through this now, rather, because the comments are the platform's a little bit slower with the comments. So, you know, when I say to you Red Bull, think of Red Bull. What do you think? What comes up into your mind? You don't have to comment, okay? But what comes to mind? It's an energy drink. But what do they sell? What you're drinking is an energy drink. But what do they actually sell? They don't sell an energy drink. They're selling the adventure, the exhilaration, the thrill. That is what they represent. And therefore, when they go and sponsor things, they're not going to go and sponsor the Bowls Club or the National Knitting Show. They're going to sponsor the most exhilarating events in the world. So lenders, brokers, whoever's on this call, when you're thinking about what events to go to, don't be a busy fool. Don't try and pack your diary because you think, oh, it looks great that you're networking and that you're sponsoring things. Really align yourself to the events that actually match your brand. You know, does this actually align with the audience and the people you're trying to connect with? So how can you do this for yourself, guys? Okay, this is my 9-step formula for how to build your brand, because at the moment I've spoken about philosophies and methodologies and metaphors of how to build your brand, but there is a clear structure that I have devised that if you put all of these together and then zoom out, you will be like, oh my God, it was right there in front of my face the whole time, and this is what my brand stands for. Number one, your story. And Kate, maybe you can be the voice of the crowd and answer on their behalf. What was my story, if you could, please? What did I share when I first started the presentation? Oh, you're on mute at the moment.
Classic. That you were working from home, that you hadn't really got yourself sorry, I'm struggling.
What was I using? What did my first day at work look like?
Your first day at work? Well, you had the ironing board in the background.
Yes, there you go, the ironing board. Yes. So my story is what I shared with you all. That is something that has lived on throughout my entire process of building my brand. I didn't wait to look like this and to show you my perfect stage presence. I shared my story from day one. And if you take nothing away from this and you just focus on sharing your story and documenting your journey as you go, that over time is what builds your visibility, your network, your experience. Everyone will understand your values, beliefs. So if I said, for example, I'm such a resilient person, I'm so strong, but actually you're not seeing that. Seeing is believing, right? If comedian said to you, I'm a really funny person, what's the first thing you're going to ask? Well, tell me a joke then. Because unless you make me laugh, I'm not really going to believe that you're a comedian. That's exactly the philosophy I want you to apply to your story. Where have you come from? What have you been up to? Why do you do what you do? Why are you where you are? This is what makes us understand your views, your values, your beliefs. So don't start with our values are be honest, be transparent, be punctual. Like those are just generic values. Your story and your history is what helps me understand what you truly believe, what your true values are, and your views of the world.
I think that's something that's come over strong and clear. Very, very basic, very honest, very authentic with the laptop up on the dining board. We've all seen that in the background during COVID. We had those Zoom calls in the early days. And I think that's really empowering for a number of people listening, that you can start very small, but very passionate. And build up from something really quite basic. You don't have to start with something terribly sophisticated. I'm a little conscious about the time. We probably need to think about wrapping up to give people a little bit of time. And we know it is slightly clunky getting questions coming through. If there's a particular question you'd like to ask us, please do pop it in the chat box. We can't say it, chat box, and we'll try to get to it before we have to wrap up. Sorry, Ros, do you want to continue?
Yeah, what time are we wrapping up? Is it not 1:30?
15. It's 1:15.
1:15. Yeah, sorry, 1:15 is 5 past. Yeah, no, we've got plenty of time. If there's questions, I can stop and pause for questions. But if there's no questions, I'll just carry on as I scheduled and what I planned. Unless you, Kate, want to ask me some questions, because if everyone just takes a screenshot of this formula, you can work that out yourself later. You can work through this, and go through this experience yourself. So this is a screenshot if you haven't taken it yet. But listing out all of these bits from the 1 to 9 really helps you understand your brand. So I'm just giving you a practical guidance on how you can get your brand understood in 9 easy steps. Now, putting that live into action, okay, Kate? So now coming into, well, how are you going to get it out there? How are you going to post about it? So when you are confused about what to say, how to say it, just focus on these 3 core pillars: education, proof, and personality. Just stick to those 3. Now, let me show you what that looks like in action. We've got Dave here. You can't fault Dave, this specialist finance broker, for being consistent. Look at him. Loads of posts. This was him doing it alone. He was on Instagram, he was on LinkedIn, back to back, doing it as much as possible. However, he wasn't really getting any leads out of it, and he certainly didn't look very happy. I don't know about you, but he just doesn't look like the energy he wanted to bring forward with his brand. So we spent a bit of time with him. He came to me with a very difficult conversation that, things at home were a little bit rocky, with the wife putting a little bit of pressure. It's been 16 months, your business is not really taking off. And I'm not saying I'm a magician, but look at that. That's not the same Dave, surely. Like the time we spent on his brand, on his values, on his wardrobe, guys, we had to change up his wardrobe, okay? The wife was very happy about that aspect. But look, he now looks more professional. So let me give you the step-by-step strategy. I mean, I can't give you it like entirely all of it because it's going to take too long, but this is a really simple 3-step content pillar method. Okay, education. He shows up with a lot more energy, dressed for the occasion. He looks like someone who is ready to take on business and is educating his audience about, what happens if a bridge facility comes to a stall. Now, you apply the word education to whatever it is that you do. If you're an underwriter, if you're admin, maybe you're an admin right now in the business that's actually been taken over and has actually taken over and taken control of the AI message. So maybe you are revolutionizing your lender, you're revolutionizing your mortgage brokerage with an AI angle. Educate us. What are you doing? How are you doing it? What methodologies are you applying? That's what you then become for, that education of what you're doing in your role. The proof. Go on, Kate. Sorry.
Can I just pop in a question here, because it is very relevant to what you're saying about
Yes.
Dave. The questions come in saying, do we need to be present across all social media channels or focus on a couple? How did you advise Dave in this instance?
Great question. Yes, no, not across all social media channels. pick one. I was only present on LinkedIn for years until I then started venturing into Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and YouTube now is more prominent for me. But nail one, guys, get really good at one, and then try and introduce another only if necessary. Only if necessary. Think about who your ideal target audience is and where are you going to find them. Does that answer the question, Kate?
I hope so. For whoever, for whoever asked it, that was a good one, because I was also going to ask you if do people make mistakes? Are there things that they should avoid doing?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
well, going for too many social media channels perhaps would be one mistake.
Maybe, yes, or being, you know, I guess just be a good person. I think you can't get it wrong when you're being a good person. You can't please everybody. You know, Dave sharing about his personality and spending quality time with his family and his wife isn't everyone's cup of tea. Some people will roll their eyes up at that, but I truly believe that if you act from integrity and you act with your values, and your values are at the forefront of everything, you can't get it wrong, but you also can't please everybody, Kate. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Some people are going to roll their eyes at my post as well. Did I do anything wrong? No. If I've hurt someone, if I've said something, you know, radical, then yes, maybe that is wrong. But no, you can't really get it wrong with social media, guys, really, because you're just being yourself, being a nice person, showing people what you do, what are you a professional in, what's the proof, you know, show me your case studies, show me your reviews, show me your wins, and show me what you're about. Let's just not talk about work only. Show me a little bit about what you're made up of.
That's a nice one. That brings in the human element very well. That's a very succinct summary. If you were going to have just a couple more minutes to get a couple of messages across to people, what would you be saying to them?
What would I say to them? In fact, we are at the end. We're literally there. Is that I guess the one final point I'll touch on is your brand is showing up already. Like I said, you've got 5 places that your brand shows up. It shows up internally. This is within your team. This is to your peers. This is to your senior leaders. This is to your colleagues. So how are you showing up internally? Are you going forward for that promotion? Are you going forward for that meeting? Do you speak up at meetings? Do you volunteer for extracurricular activities at work? That is your internal brand. Your brand also shows up in the industry. Do you know, outside of your company, do you mingle and network with other people in other areas of the business, in other areas of the industry? Do you know the media partners? Do you know the award judges? Are you engaging with the industry? Your clients have also got a perception of what your brand is about. Your family and friends do. And then guess what, Kate? It all lives online. Your digital brand, whether it lives on there or doesn't, remember, not seeing something about you is just as loud as seeing something about you. So that's it, guys, from me. You are welcome. I know this book says Social Media Guide for Mortgage Brokers. It's read by everybody in the industry, lenders, solicitors, estate agents. This book goes into a lot deeper philosophies and strategies. If you want to take a picture of the QR code, it takes you to Amazon. This goes into very, very detailed chapters about what I've discussed here today. And of course, Kate, I'd be happy to connect with anyone online, LinkedIn, Instagram, if you want to follow my journey, and I can follow you back. But yeah, we've got 1 more minute for any wrap up or questions that you may have, Kate.
Just waiting to see if any more questions do come in, but please, people do engage with Ros. There's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of individual questions that you may have, which perhaps some of you were unable to ask on the session. Apologies, we had some slightly clunky issues with the IT. I think it must be the heat or something getting to us all. Thank you all very much indeed for being with us today. We will be sending out an email asking you how it was for you and what you enjoyed about today. Please do give A3 some feedback on that. Let us know in the feedback who you are, where you come from, what your organisation is, so we get a feel for who the audience is and we can pitch things correctly another time. There are going to be 2 more masterclasses this year, one in October, one in December. Emails will be going out. You can also get information from the Mortgage Solutions website on that. And we have one further expo this year in Southampton on the 25th of November. So please sign up for that. So with that, thank you very much to Ros. Thank you all for watching or listening wherever you've been. The recording will go on the Working in Mortgages website in due course, so you can pick up again and reread and answer the questions. You'll know who the people are on the photographs this time if you didn't first time round. So thank you very much indeed, and enjoy the rest of your day.